We are going to begin our graphing linear equation unit today by using a table to graph a line. We're given this equation, and we're going to use this equation to finish filling in this table. Then we're going to use the table to plot ordered pairs to find the graph of our line, representing this equation. Let's get started. Our equation is y equals negative 2/3 x. Now remember, the 2/3 and the x, when they're together like that with no operation in between them, it always means multiplication. So this is really y equals negative 2/3 times x. So what we're going to do is we're going to substitute these x values in to our equation to find our y values. So let's go ahead and substitute negative 6 in. So we get y equals negative 2/3 times, now instead of x, we're going to substitute in that x value of negative 6. So we replace that x with our x value. Now we can go ahead and multiply. A negative times a negative, remember, is a positive. No matter if it's a fraction, the rules stay the same. Negative times a negative is a positive. Now when I take a fraction and multiply it by a whole number, I multiply the numerator by the number and then divide by the denominator. So I would go 2 times 6 divided by the denominator 3. So 2 times the number 6 and then divide by the denominator 3. Now 2 times 6 gives me 12 divided by 3. And 12 divided by 3 then gives me a y value, of 4. So when my x value is negative 6, I get a y value of 4 with this equation. Now let's do the next one, negative 3. Y equals, again, negative 2/3. That fraction does not change, only your x value that you're plugging in is going to change as you go. So now we're going to plug in the x value of negative 3. Now we have negative 2/3 times negative 3. A negative times a negative, again, is a positive. 2 times 3 gives me 6, divided by the denominator of 3. 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. So when my x value is negative 3, my y value is a positive 2. Next x value is 0. Y equals negative 2/3 times 0. Well, anything times 0 is 0, so when my x is 0, my y value is 0 in this case. Next x value we're going to substitute in is 3, so we're going to substitute that in for x now. So I get y equals negative 2/3 times the x value 3. Now a negative times a positive is a negative. So 2 times 3 gives me 6, divided by the denominator 3. Negative 6 divided by 3, negative divided by a positive is still negative. 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. So when I substitute 3 in for x, I get negative 2 as my y value. Last one now, 6. Y equals negative 2/3 times 6. So again, a negative times a positive is going to give me a negative. 2 times 6 gives me 12. Divide that by the denominator 3 here. Negative divided by a positive stays negative. Negative 12 divided by 3 then, 12 divided by 3 gives me 4. So negative 4 is my y value when my x value is 6. Now we've completed our table by filling in our y values. Now we're going to use this information to create ordered pairs. Remember, an ordered pair is an x, then a y, and we use these to graph. So my first ordered pair then is negative 6, positive 4. My next ordered pair, negative 3, 2. Then we have 0, 0, 3, negative 2, and 6, negative 4. as our ordered pairs. We're going to graph these now to find the equation, or the line, that represents this equation. Notice how the y values have a pattern here as we go down. This will always happen in a linear equation as long as your x values are in order from least to greatest, which they are. Since these are in numerical order on the x side, the y side will have this pattern as well. So that's some way you can check to make sure your multiplication is correct over here. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and graph these ordered pairs. Remember, when I graph, I always go left or right first, according to the x, and then up or down, depending on what the y is. So our first ordered pair is -6, 4. So we're going to start in the center, and we're going to go left 6, and up 4. Now we're going to graph our next one, -3, 2. So I'm going to go left 3 and up 2. And there's my point. Next one, 0, 0. Remember, that's the origin, so that just stays right in the center there. My next point, 3, -2. +3, so I'm going to go to the right 3, -2, so I'm going to go down 2. And my last point, 6, -4, so to the right 6 and down 4. Now notice how, after I plot my points, they all lie in this straight line. We are graphing a linear equation. So if you do not get a straight line when plotting your points, you need to go back and check your ordered pairs. It should always be a straight line. So now, using this, I am going to draw in the best line that I can here, connecting those dots. And there is, put on my arrows, and there is my line. This line then is my final answer, and it represents the equation y equals -2/3 x. Please let me know if you have any questions.